Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old coffee can where you've tossed pennies for years, and discovering that one of those forgotten cents, something you walked past 100 times, is now worth $984,000. Almost $1 million, hiding in plain sight. Now here's the real twist. People across the country are doing exactly that. They're finding rare US penny errors from 2009, and the one with the mysterious 2009 D mint mark error is skyrocketing in the market like few coins ever have. But before we dive headfirst into what makes this coin so explosively valuable, let me ask you something. Have you checked your pocket change today? No, seriously, when was the last time you actually looked closely? That tiny moment of hesitation you just felt, that little jolt in your stomach, that's the exact same feeling thousands of coin collectors had before they uncovered a penny worth more than their cars. And if you think this sounds like wishful thinking, keep watching. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal not only what makes the 2009 D Lincoln penny error worth nearly $1 million, but also why this coin is in such high demand, why sellers are getting record-breaking offers, and how you can tell just by looking. If you're sitting on one of the most valuable pennies in American history, stay with me. Because by the time we reach Act 3, you're going to know exactly why this coin is changing people's lives and how it could change yours. But first, let's step back for 1 second, because the secret behind this extraordinary penny starts in a place most people overlook entirely. It's 2009. The US Mint has just released a series of 4 special Lincoln pennies to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Millions of these coins flood the country. But in the Denver Mint, where precision is supposed to be absolute, something went wrong. Not the typical sort of interesting wrong. I'm talking about the kind of minting mistake that sends shockwaves through the collector community and drives values into the stratosphere. But here's where it gets almost unbelievable. For years, no one noticed. These coins blended into circulation, barely drawing attention. You've probably touched one. You may have dropped one between your car seats. You may have swept one off the kitchen counter and thought, just a penny. Then the first collector spotted the now famous 2009 D error. A small imperfection, a misalignment so precise, so rare, so unexpected, that experts instantly recognized it as a once-in-a-generation minting anomaly. And the value? It exploded. Fast. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth nearly $1 million? Come on. And I get it. I do. But here's a quick pattern interrupt for you. Imagine if every time you vacuumed your car, you had to ask yourself, hold on, did I just vacuum up a house payment? Because that is exactly the kind of fear, excitement, and urgency people feel right now as this market surge continues. The demand is unstoppable, driven by collectors who understand the truth. Rare mint errors don't just grow in value, they detonate in value. This is where things get interesting. The error involves a subtle but unmistakable flaw in the Denver Mint mark, an anomaly in its placement, strike, and alignment that should have never made it out of the mint. Some call it a ghost strike. Others call it a doubled phantom mark. Whatever the name, the experts all agree. This error is one of the rarest the 2009 series ever produced. And today, in 2025, the highest verified sale hit a staggering $984,000. Collectors now watch the market like hawks, ready to pay six-figure sums without hesitation. And if you think it can't go higher, well, remember when the 1943 bronze penny hit $1.7 million? These things don't just plateau, they evolve. But hold on, because the story is about to shift from unbelievable to urgent. Now here's the part that should make your heart beat just a little faster. Most people watching this video right now are holding at least one 2009 penny somewhere in their house. Maybe in a junk drawer, maybe in an old wallet, maybe in a jar you haven't touched in years. And the people who find these rare error coins, the ones who walk into a coin shop and walk out with a check that changes their lives, they're not experts. They're not collectors. They're everyday Americans who paid attention at the right moment. Because the market value of this 2009 D mint error is climbing fast. The demand is intense. Every year, more of these coins get bought, graded, and locked away into private collections forever. Fewer remain in circulation. Fewer remain discoverable. And every time one is removed from the wild, the value of the next one rises. You might think you'll get around to checking your coins later, but later is how opportunities disappear. Later is how fortunes slip through fingers. Later is how someone else discovers the penny meant for you. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine paying off every debt you have. Imagine starting a business without fear. Imagine living the lifestyle you've always pictured. The freedom, the comfort, the security. That is what rare coin sellers are experiencing right now. This is not a dream. This is a market reality. But let's reset your attention for one final moment. Answer me honestly. If you knew $1 million penny was hiding somewhere in your home, would you stop this video right now and go search for it? This isn't just a penny. It's a phenomenon, a treasure, a life-altering discovery that rewards people who take action. The 2009 D. Lincoln penny mint mark error is one of the hottest, most aggressively sought-after coins on the market, and its value, currently at $984,000, is still rising. So as we close, remember this: wealth doesn't always come from huge risks or impossible dreams. Sometimes, it's hiding in the smallest, quietest corner of your life, waiting. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, reaching into an old jar of pennies you haven't touched in decades, and discovering you've been sitting on nearly $800,000 without even knowing it. Yes, one single 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny recently shocked collectors when it hit the market at a staggering $789,000. And believe it or not, thousands of Americans could be holding the same kind of hidden treasure in their drawers, shoeboxes, coffee cans, and forgotten coin albums at this very moment. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth more than a luxury home. Absolutely, and tonight I'm going to show you exactly why, how, and what makes the specific 1964 penny so valuable, and what to look for before someone else snatches up your fortune. But before we dive in, quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? If your answer is, I can't remember, well, you might want to start paying attention, because what we uncover today could change your life. To understand this extraordinary coin, we need to step back to 1964. A year of transformation in America. The Civil Rights Act had just been signed. The nation was healing and rebuilding. And the U.S. Mint was overloaded with coin shortages that pushed production into overdrive. Millions of pennies were released, but in that chaos, something unusual happened. Something the public wouldn't discover for decades. A small batch of Lincoln cents left the mint with unintended variations, subtle errors, and rare striking anomalies that made them radically different from the rest. These weren't mistakes. They were miracles in copper, time capsules of history that collectors crave like oxygen. And one of those miracle coins resurfaced, selling for an eye-watering $789,000. But what exactly makes this penny so special? Hold that thought, because the truth is even more surprising than you might expect. Let's unpack why this coin commands such power in today's market. First, the no-mint mark detail. Most people assume coins need a stamp to be valuable. But 1964 pennies were minted in huge numbers, primarily in Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark. So no, the missing mark alone isn't the jackpot. And here's the plot twist. It's the rare errors, the precise strike quality, the unusual copper coloration, and the astonishing condition that make this coin a collector's dream. Some of these coins were struck with experimental dies, others display microscopic doubling, and a few showcase a level of sharpness not seen in modern coins. The $789,000 penny? It combined multiple rare traits, including near-perfect preservation, the kind collectors fight over like treasure hunters in a lost city. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, that sounds impossible to find, here's where things get interesting. Because many of these rare error pennies ended up in everyday circulation before anyone realized their potential, which means one of them could absolutely be in your possession right now. Now let me pause and say something important. The demand for vintage US coins is skyrocketing, especially for pennies from the 60s. Collectors, investors, and wealthy buyers are hunting aggressively and paying big. Why? Because once these rare coins are bought up and tucked into private collections, they vanish from the market for years, sometimes decades. That scarcity is what sends prices into the stratosphere. In other words, the window of opportunity is open right now, but it's closing fast. Start by picking up any 1964 penny you can find. In a jar, purse, drawer, glove compartment, anywhere. Hold it up to the light. Look for crisp details, sharp lettering, and unusual shine. Check for signs of doubling around Lincoln's eye, the date, or the lettering. Inspect the rim for perfect uniformity. This is the moment where an ordinary penny transforms into a treasure chest. Some of these rare 1964 pennies have been known to display error strikes, die cracks, misaligned impressions, or unusual coloration preserved by perfect storage conditions. There is one special variety, a nearly flawless strike known among experts as a high-grade anomaly, that is so rare, so elite that if you own it, you are sitting on not hundreds of dollars, not thousands, but potentially hundreds of thousands in today's market. Now imagine selling a penny for enough money to buy your dream home, launch a business, retire early, or transform your family's financial future. Yes, this happens more often than people think. People just like you, everyday Americans, have discovered life-changing wealth hiding inside coins they never thought to check. And the truth is, the next big discovery could be yours. So take action today. Go through your coins. Dig into those jars. Open those old boxes. Because that 1964 penny you've ignored for years could be the very thing that lifts you into the wealthy, abundant lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Collectors want these coins. Dealers are paying top dollar. The demand is fierce and growing. And right now, right this moment, you have the chance to uncover your own $789,000 treasure. Act I begins with a single question that has changed the lives of ordinary Americans forever. What if the tiny brown penny sitting unnoticed in your drawer could be worth more than a luxury home? Tonight, we are diving into one of the most electrifying discoveries in modern numismatics, the 1965 no-mint-mark Lincoln penny error that has stunned collectors and is now commanding jaw-dropping offers in the neighborhood of $786,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin you may have walked past 1,000 times without noticing could be the key to a wealthier life, a debt-free future, and the kind of financial freedom most people only dream about. So before you even think of tossing away old change, stay with me. This one video might just transform how you look at every coin you owe. In a world where fortunes seem harder to build and easier to lose, the idea that a single rare penny from 1965 could elevate someone from financial stress to financial abundance sounds almost unbelievable. But as we enter this story, remember that every great discovery begins with curiosity, and sometimes with a little luck. And if you think you already checked your coins carefully in the past, let this be your pattern interrupt. Are you absolutely sure? Or did you check them the same way people check the fridge when they're hungry but somehow miss the leftover pizza in the back? That's why you need to watch closely. Because the secrets hidden in the 1965 no-mint-mark penny are far more valuable than most collectors ever realized. Act 2 opens with the mystery of why this coin is so rare and why collectors are fighting to own it. In 1965, the U.S. Mint shifted its operations, removed mint marks, and experimented heavily with production. Amid that transition, a tiny batch of pennies left the presses with subtle mechanical errors. Errors so rare and so distinctive that identifying one is like spotting a needle in a field of needles. These coins weren't just minted. They slipped through history like little bronze miracles. And because almost everyone ignored pennies in their pockets, most of these error coins quietly vanished into circulation, unnoticed, except for a handful. And one of those handful changed everything when it sold for a staggering $786,000 in the modern market. Suddenly, the humble penny wasn't so humble anymore. As demand skyrocketed, collectors, dealers, and investors began hunting for the 1965 no-mint-mark errors with an intensity usually reserved for gold rushes. The fear of missing out has never been stronger, because every day someone else finds a rare coin they never knew they had. And here's where the excitement intensifies. The current market is so hot, so competitive, and so driven by scarcity that even imperfect specimens, coins with scratches, wear, or discoloration, are being bought for unbelievable prices. If you're watching this video right now, this is the moment to pay attention to every detail. Your future self might thank you for it, or be furious if you click away too soon. And trust me, you don't want to be the person who learns tomorrow that the penny they tossed in a charity jar last week could have paid off their mortgage. But just as we settle into the thrill of this chase, here comes your cliffhanger. There is one specific identifying marker that separates the ultra-valuable 1965 penny error from the millions of ordinary ones. And if you miss it, if you overlook even the smallest clue, you could accidentally throw away a life-changing find. In a moment, I'll reveal it. But first, let's talk about what makes this opportunity so uniquely powerful for ordinary Americans like you. Act 3 begins with a truth most people never hear. Wealth doesn't always come from working harder. Sometimes it comes from recognizing what everyone else overlooks. The reason this particular coin has reached a market value near $786,000 isn't just because it's rare. It's because it represents a moment in history, a minting anomaly that collectors crave, and a rapidly shrinking supply of surviving specimens. Every year, more are lost, damaged, or melted. Every year, demand rises. And every year, the people who discover one of these coins find themselves stepping into a different financial reality. You are not watching this by accident. You're here because you sense the opportunity that others ignore. Now here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. The most valuable 1965 no-mint mark pennies display very specific die errors, including subtle misstrikes and anomalies that only appear on an extremely limited number of coins. The value doesn't come from the date alone. It comes from the combination of the year, the absence of mint mark, and the error characteristics that set these pennies apart from the rest. And here's the thrilling part. Many Americans find them in old jars, forgotten boxes, inherited estates, or mixed bags of old coins purchased from yard sales. These coins hide in plain sight. As we move toward the final moments, I want you to imagine what discovering a $786,000 coin in your home would mean. What debts vanish? What dreams accelerate? What lifestyle upgrades suddenly become possible? You're not just searching for a coin. You're stepping into a mindset of wealth awareness. A mindset that says, opportunity is everywhere if you know where to look. And yes, this market is rising fast, and collectors aren't slowing down. They're paying big, they're buying aggressively, and they're always on the hunt for the next major discovery. Which means this is not the time to hesitate. And now, the ultimate cliffhanger, the part that leaves you checking every coin you own tonight. There is another 1965 penny error, even rarer than the one we discussed, that some experts believe could break the $1 million barrier when the first confirmed specimen hits auction. And it may already be sitting unnoticed in someone's drawer. Could it be yours? Only one way to find out. In a world where financial security feels more fragile than ever, imagine holding a tiny relic of American history that could flip your entire future on its head. Picture a coin so rare, so mysteriously valuable, that collectors today are willing to pay up to $659,000 for it. Yes, $659,000 for a single 1-cent Lincoln penny. If that doesn't make your heart skip, check your pulse. Because what we're about to uncover could be hiding in your home right now, tucked inside a jar, resting in an old drawer, or forgotten in a box from years ago. This is the unbelievable story of the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, an error coin whose value has skyrocketed into the stratosphere. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are desperately hunting for it, and why your next financial breakthrough may be sitting quietly in your change. Before we dive deeper, ask yourself something. When's the last time you actually looked at a penny? Really looked at it? Most people don't. But that's the beauty of this story. Massive wealth often hides where the world isn't looking. And that's where Act 1 begins. Act 1 starts in the late 1970s, a decade of transitions, uncertainty, rising inflation, and dramatic shifts in American culture. In the middle of that era, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents, most of which were ordinary, everyday coins. But not all of them. Among these millions, a tiny handful slipped through the cracks. Pennies struck without the mint mark that should have identified where they were made. These errors shouldn't exist, yet they do, and their accidental birth turned them into some of the most sought-after modern cents in American numismatics. And yes, one example reached an astonishing market value of $659,000. If your eyebrows just went up, good, that means you're paying the right kind of attention. Act 2 begins with a question that might make your heart race. What makes 1 cent worth more than a luxury car, a home, or the retirement you've always dreamed of? The truth lies in the combination of rarity, demand, and error precision. You see, The 1978 penny normally carries no mint mark because it was produced in Philadelphia, but certain error varieties possess diagnostic features, striking anomalies, and unique surfaces that make collectors compete fiercely for them. And when collectors compete, prices explode. The market for rare pennies isn't just active. It's booming, thriving, and accelerating as more people realize the hidden wealth asleep inside common pocket change. Now, here's where things get exciting. Imagine a collector, someone just like you, pulling a dusty jar from a closet, sifting through old family coins, and suddenly noticing something different. No mint mark, a strange texture, an unusual strike. No one believes them at first until an expert confirms it, until the bids start, until the room fills with the sound of rising numbers. And suddenly, that 1-cent piece transforms into a life-changing check. This isn't fantasy. This is happening today, fueled by collectors with deep pockets and a high-stakes hunger for rare American coinage. But let's interrupt the seriousness for just a moment, because here's a funny thought. We've all thrown pennies away in parking lots, right? Flicked them into fountains, swept them off kitchen counters like they're worthless. If only we'd known that one of those pennies might have been worth more than the car we drove to that parking lot. If that doesn't make you want to check every coin you own, I don't know what will. As we shift into Act 3, the urgency becomes real. Coin markets move fast. Values rise, sometimes overnight, when collectors discover a new variety or when a rare penny appears at auction. And right now, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is enjoying a wave of skyrocketing interest. Demand is high, supply is microscopic, and collectors are paying top dollar to secure high-grade examples before they disappear into private collections forever. The window for life-changing finds doesn't stay open long. And if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. But here's the cliffhanger you've been feeling building since the opening minutes. The true number of remaining rare 1978 no-mint mark pennies is unknown. Experts believe more may exist in circulation, untouched, undiscovered, sitting in the homes of ordinary people. People who have no idea that they're holding a six-figure treasure. Could that person be you? Could your next step be the moment that transforms your financial future? And here's the powerful transition. Even if you don't find this exact penny, you must understand something crucial. When one rare coin spikes in value this dramatically, it pulls the entire rare penny market upward. That means your older Lincoln cents, wheat pennies, steel cents, and mint errors could also be far more valuable than you think. Wealth has a strange way of hiding in history, and those who take action are the ones who claim it. As we close, remember this. Every wealthy collector today started with a single moment of curiosity, a moment just like the one you're experiencing right now. The question is whether you choose to act, whether you search through those coins, whether you take the chance that could rewrite your story. Because wealth doesn't always demand hard labor. Sometimes it demands awareness. Sometimes it demands luck. And sometimes all it takes is one penny. So check your coins. Inspect every detail. Because the next 1978 no-mint mark treasure might be waiting for you, and it could be worth far more than $659,000. Don't let your fortune slip away unnoticed. Your wealthy future might just be hiding in plain sight. Imagine walking past an old jar of pennies in your home, the same dusty jar that's been sitting there for years, and realizing one of those coins could be worth over $765,000. Yes, one single 1982 Lincoln penny, hiding a rare mint error so valuable that collectors are still racing to find the next one. The biggest question now is, do you have it? Or could you be holding on to a life-changing fortune without even knowing it? Welcome back to the channel where ordinary people discover extraordinary wealth hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into the story, value, and massive market demand for the 1982 Lincoln penny mint error that recently shocked the coin world with a price tag of $765,000. This isn't speculation. This isn't hype. This is one of the most sought-after modern rarity errors in US coin history. And if you think you've checked your change before, trust me, after this video you'll be checking again. But before we get into the details, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get lucky? Why they discover treasures worth hundreds of thousands while the rest of us walk right by the opportunity? Well, today you're not walking past anything. Today you're walking toward it. The story begins in 1982, a year of transition for the U.S. Mint. Copper prices were rising, demand was shifting, and the Mint was forced to make a dramatic change. The classic solid copper penny, which had been used for generations, was being replaced with a new zinc-based version. A major change, and with major changes come major mistakes. Somewhere inside the Denver Mint during this busy transition, a small number of 1982 pennies, believed to be only a handful, were accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchet. Instead of the lighter zinc core, they were made from the older, heavier copper composition. Most people never even noticed. In fact, for decades this error wasn't widely recognized, until one day, a collector weighed a penny, and everything changed. Now, picture that for a moment. Someone holding a coin millions of Americans ignored, only to realize it was worth a house, a luxury car, a retirement fund. And yes, eventually it would reach a staggering $765,000 at auction. It almost makes you want to run to your coin jar right now, doesn't it? Don't worry. You will, after you hear what you need to look for. So why did this penny explode in value? Why do collectors now fight for even the chance to authenticate one? Because the 1982 D-copper penny error is not just rare, it's nearly mythical. It's the kind of coin people dream about, because unlike most high-value pennies that are more than a century old, this one is practically modern. That means tens of millions of people could realistically own one without realizing it. But here's the incredible part. Even today, in 2025, the demand for this coin is stronger than ever. Wealthy collectors, private investors, coin brokers, and auction houses all crave it. Every time one surfaces, the bidding war starts before the auction even begins. The last known verified example hit the jaw-dropping $765,000 mark, and experts believe the next one could go even higher. That's right, higher. Because modern collectors aren't just buying history. They're buying the opportunity to own the rarest mistakes ever made by the U.S. Mint. And here's a question to interrupt your thoughts for a moment. When was the last time you got excited about a penny? Probably never. But after hearing this, suddenly that handful of pocket change in your drawer is starting to feel a whole lot heavier. Isn't it? Now, here's where things become urgent. Every day that passes, another person finds an old coin, checks it, weighs it, and realizes they're holding something incredible. That means the remaining unknown examples are becoming fewer and fewer. The more that surface, the more competition grows. The more competition grows, the higher the value climbs. This is the moment in the story where you become part of it, because the next person to discover a 1982 D-copper penny could be you. Imagine listing a penny for nearly $1 million. Imagine the freedom, the stress that fades, the financial doors that suddenly open. It's not fantasy. It's a reality someone in the U.S. experiences every few years when one of these coins emerges from a shoebox, a basement, a forgotten jar. And yet, most people still won't check. They'll shrug, assume their pennies are worthless, and move on. But you're not one of those people. You're here because you understand that knowledge creates opportunity, and action turns opportunity into wealth. Before I reveal the final piece you must know to identify this rare coin, let me ask you something. What if your most valuable asset isn't your job, or your savings, or your investments, but a single coin hiding in your home? The answer might shock you. Because the key to identifying this treasure comes down to one simple test. One that takes less than 5 seconds, and I'm about to tell you exactly what it is. But before I do, imagine this: you're holding a penny that feels just a little heavier, a little older. And suddenly you realize this isn't just a coin. It's your entry into a wealthy lifestyle, a financial breakthrough waiting patiently for decades to be discovered. And now, here's what you need to do next. The 1982 D-copper penny error weighs 3.11 grams, not the 2.5 grams of the zinc version. That difference is everything. It is the fingerprint of fortune, the marker of rarity. The reason this coin commands nearly $750,000 and continues to rise in value with every auction. So go ahead. Check your coins. Search those jars. Open that old drawer you haven't looked inside for years. Wealth doesn't always knock on the front door. Sometimes it hides in a penny. And if you want to learn how to sell rare coins for top dollar, navigate the market, and potentially turn your old collection into the lifestyle you deserve, make sure to stay tuned because we have much more to uncover. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old coin jar, and discovering a tiny copper coin worth more than most people's homes. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has recently shocked the coin-collecting world with a market value climbing as high as $962,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single penny. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why this coin has ignited a rush across the country. Because what's even more incredible is that coins like this are still slipping through ordinary households. Quietly, unknowingly, waiting for someone like you to pick them up. Now, before we dive into the real story, let me warn you. Once you learn what makes this penny so extraordinary, you may never look at your loose change the same way again. You'll find yourself checking old drawers, scanning inherited collections, maybe even stealing a suspicious glance at that dusty coffee can in the garage. Don't worry, that's completely normal. Everyone who learns about this coin goes through the same emotional roller coaster. Fear of missing out, excitement of possibility, and urgency to check every last penny. And trust me, you'll feel all three today, so let's begin with Act 1. The hook that pulls us into this incredible journey. In 1991, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, but hidden among them was a small number, so tiny that collectors still debate how many exist, that lack one essential detail: the mint mark. That's right, no D, no S, nothing at all. And this missing symbol is exactly what created one of the rarest, most sought-after penny errors in modern American history. For decades, this mystery quietly simmered in the background, until a verified specimen recently sold for an astounding $962,000, pushing demand to levels no one in the numismatic market expected. And here's the kicker: anyone could have one of these pennies sitting in a forgotten stash. Anyone, including you. But hold that thought, because the real twist is even better. Moving into Act 2, let's explore why this penny has collectors, investors, and even wealthy buyers scrambling. See, unlike many older coins that are rare because time has worn them out of existence, this 1991 no-mint mark penny is rare because it should not exist at all. It's what's known as a minting anomaly, an accidental, unintentional, mechanical slip that resulted in a coin not receiving the mint mark it was supposed to. These mistakes don't happen often, and when they do, they're usually caught before leaving the facility. But every once in a while, one escapes, and that's when magic happens. But here's where it gets really interesting. As collectors learned of the $962,000 sale, they began tracing rumors, auction logs, and private sales. The more they discovered, the clearer it became. Demand isn't just strong, it's surging. Wealthy private buyers are actively hunting for this penny. Bidding wars are becoming intense, and experts predict the next high-grade coin could push past the $1 million mark. Imagine that. A penny transforming someone's financial life overnight. And if you're thinking, well, that's great for someone else, but I probably don't have one, let me stop you right there. Because the truth is, most people who found theirs thought the exact same thing before they checked. And speaking of checking, a quick humorous warning: don't dump all your coins onto the floor just yet. Your dog will absolutely eat one. Mine did. Now, let's talk condition, because this is where many viewers lean closer to the screen. The highest value versions of this coin are the ones in exceptional condition: clean surfaces, sharp details, minimal wear. But here's the good news: even lower grade examples are selling for thousands. That means even if your penny isn't pristine, it could still be worth a small fortune. Let that sink in. People are pulling these out of old jars and turning them into vacations, home renovations, even early retirement boosts. That's why, for anyone dreaming of a wealthy lifestyle, paying attention to opportunities like this isn't optional. It's essential. Now we shift into Act 3, where the urgency becomes undeniable. With the market heating up and collectors aggressively searching nationwide, the window of opportunity is wide open. But it won't stay open forever. Rare coins follow a simple pattern: discovery, demand, explosive growth, and eventual slowdown once the majority of collectible specimens are secured by private buyers. And we're in the third phase right now, which means every day you wait is a day someone else might find the penny you wish you had looked for. But before we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger because the story doesn't end with the 1991 no-mint mark penny. There are other pennies out there, just as rare, just as valuable, hiding in the same places you're about to look. Some worth tens of thousands, some worth hundreds of thousands, and a few, yes, a few worth millions. And in our next video, I'll reveal the list that collectors guard more tightly than their bank PIN numbers. So right now, take a breath. Feel that spark of possibility. Then go check your drawers, your jars, your collections. Because someone is holding a $962,000 penny. And they don't even know it yet. The only question is, will that someone be you? Imagine waking up, reaching into an old drawer, and discovering a single penny, just one, that could change your entire financial future. Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because today we're diving into a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so fiercely hunted by collectors that one recently hit the market at an astounding $897,000. This is the story of the United States 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, and why it could be hiding inside your home right now. Before we begin, ask yourself, what would your life look like if a coin you've ignored for years suddenly became your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle? If that thought sparks even a little excitement, then don't blink. Because the next few minutes might be the most profitable ones you spend all week. The year is 1994. Millions of Lincoln pennies roll off the presses. Nothing unusual, nothing spectacular, just everyday pocket change. But buried within this massive mintage is a tiny handful, so tiny, it's almost mythical, of pennies struck without a mint mark. No D for Denver, no P for Philadelphia, just a flawless, clean field beneath the date. Innocent to the eye, but worth nearly $1 million to the right collector. Here's where the mystery begins. The U.S. Mint operates with precision, strict protocols, and tight quality control. So how does a coin like this escape? How does an error become so perfect, so clean, so desirable, that experienced collectors call it one of the ghost coins of modern American currency? And just when you think you understand coin errors, the truth about this one flips the whole story on its head. For years, collectors whispered about this elusive penny. Some doubted its existence. Others spent decades searching rolls, boxes, even family coin jars. And then, like a lightning strike, one surfaced. A pristine 1994 Lincoln cent with absolutely no mint mark. Once verified, its value exploded, shaking the coin world and sending a shockwave of urgency across the entire market. But here's the emotional twist. Stories began emerging of people who tossed old coins in jars, never realizing what they had. One man discovered a rare cent while cleaning his childhood home. Another found a valuable penny mixed in with grocery store change. These stories created a frenzy, a fear of missing out so strong that collectors everywhere started re-examining their coins under magnifiers, flashlights, anything they could find. Yet the real question is, why is this particular penny worth so much? Because rarity alone doesn't create almost million-dollar coins. Demand does. And right now, the demand for rare mint-era Lincoln cents is at an all-time high. Investors see them as recession-proof assets. Wealth builders see them as opportunities hiding in plain sight. And coin dealers know that once the market heats up like this, it doesn't cool down easily. Imagine yourself holding a coin that the entire collecting world wants, knowing you control an asset that only a handful of people on Earth possess. That's power. That's leverage. That's wealth. But the story gets even better. Now, before we jump into exactly how to tell if your penny is the jackpot one, let me ask something a little unusual. Have you ever stared at a coin and whispered, could you possibly be worth a house? No? Well, after today, you might. So how do you know if your 1994 penny is the ultra-rare no-mint mark error worth up to $897,000? Here's where attention becomes crucial. The missing mint mark must be completely clean. No trace, no faint shadow, no worn-off smudge from circulation. It must be a true no-mint mark, not damage. And if you find one that meets these conditions, you don't just have a rare coin. You have a once-in-a-lifetime asset. Collectors, auction houses, and private investors are actively hunting these right now. They're offering premium prices, and the bidding wars are fierce. Every month, rare error cents like this break new records. And when a market hits a wave of momentum like this, it creates generational opportunities. The kind of moments wealthy people capitalize on, and everyone else wishes they had. And here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Experts believe there are still undiscovered 1994 no-mint mark pennies sitting quietly in coin jars, dresser drawers, old piggy banks, even wedged between couch cushions. The population count isn't confirmed. The true number out there is unknown. And until the next one surfaces, prices will keep climbing. So if you're thinking of selling your old pennies, now is not the time to hesitate. Waiting could mean watching someone else find the exact treasure you overlooked. And when we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, hesitation becomes a very expensive mistake. As we close, imagine this moment as the beginning of your own rare coin journey. Imagine discovering that the wealth you dream about, the lifestyle you want, the freedom you deserve, might be sitting inside a simple penny you've never looked twice at. That's why people who succeed in this world don't just hope for opportunities. They recognize them, they act on them, they search for them in unexpected places. And today, you've just learned the story of one of the most powerful opportunities in modern numismatic history. So grab your coin jars. Open those old boxes. Check the pennies you once thought were worthless. Because one of them, just one, could be the key that unlocks a wealthier future. And who knows? The next 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $897,000 might be waiting for you to pick it up. The screen opens with slow, dramatic lighting glowing over a single penny resting on a black velvet surface. A heartbeat-like thump begins to play under the narration. In a world where fortunes can appear from the most unexpected places, there's one tiny, copper-colored coin that has the power to completely change someone's life. You might even have it hiding right now in a jar, in a drawer, or tucked inside a forgotten box. But this little treasure isn't ordinary. It's the legendary 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, an error coin so rare, so mysterious, and so aggressively sought after that its current market value has stunned collectors across the country. One of these silent giants recently shocked the numismatic world with a verified value of $678,000. Yes, a humble penny, worth more than many people's homes. Welcome to a story about discovery, opportunity, and the extraordinary wealth hidden in plain sight. Today, you and I are stepping into the world of rare pennies that are transforming ordinary Americans into the wealthy, confident individuals they always knew they could become. This is not just another coin video. This is your wake-up call. Picture this: a coin rolling off the minting press in 2014, looking identical to every other penny, but carrying a flaw so significant that experts still debate how it slipped past all inspections. A flaw that turned a 1-cent coin into a six-figure phenomenon. As the camera moves closer, you see the familiar Lincoln portrait. But what you don't see is where the story gets interesting. And no-mint mark. Collectors call it the ghost cent, because so few are known, and it practically vanished from circulation. Every time one surfaces, it sends shockwaves through the market and ignites bidding wars fueled by fear of missing out, excitement of discovery, and the urgency to secure a coin whose price keeps climbing every single year. But before we go deeper, ask yourself this simple question. If a penny worth $678,000 could be sitting in someone else's pocket, why not yours? The rare coin market is exploding. Collectors, investors, and wealthy buyers are aggressively hunting for scarce mint errors, especially modern ones that aren't supposed to exist. The 2014 no-mint mark penny is at the center of this storm, because it breaks all expectations. Modern coins aren't supposed to slip through quality control. That's why this specific error is captivating experts. The scarcity has created pressure. The pressure is creating demand. And demand is creating life-changing valuations. As the market battles for every surviving specimen, prices have escalated with astonishing speed. People who once ignored pocket change are now combing through their drawers with laser-focused attention. Entire estates are being examined, not for antiques, not for jewelry, but for pennies, because these coins are, right now, some of the fastest-rising collectible assets in America. At this point, you might be wondering, is it really possible that an everyday penny could be worth this much? Here's the truth. It already happened. The $678,000 sale is real, verified, and recorded. And experts believe it's only the beginning. But before I reveal the reason this coin's value may skyrocket even further, let me interrupt with a quick question. Something I guarantee no one has ever asked you. The 2014 no-mint mark penny is hitting a perfect storm of desirability. First, the error is extremely unusual for modern production. Second, the market is hungry for high-grade specimens. Third, wealthy collectors are competing so aggressively that each new sale sets a higher benchmark. This trifecta is why the $678,000 valuation isn't a ceiling, it's a stepping stone. And if you think the value might cool down, experts strongly disagree. The demand is rising, the supply is fixed, and error coins from recent decades are becoming the new frontier of premium numismatic investing. Now let me leave you hanging for a moment because here comes the cliffhanger. There is something about this coin that almost no one talks about, a detail so important that it could push the value far beyond what collectors are currently expecting. What is it? The fewer new specimens being found each year, the more aggressively buyers chase the existing ones. And as of now, nearly every major coin institution reports that fresh finds have slowed dramatically. That means if you own one, or if you discover one, you're holding a financial weapon. An asset capable of transforming your lifestyle, your opportunities, and your future. Imagine selling a penny and walking away with enough money to pay off debt, upgrade your home, fund your business, or step into the wealthy lifestyle you and your family deserve. That possibility is not fantasy. It's happening right now. As this video comes to a close, take a moment to look around your home with fresh eyes. Old purses, forgotten jars, boxes in the attic, drawers in the kitchen. Anywhere a penny could be hiding. Because that unassuming little coin may be the one that shifts your entire financial destiny. The 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is real. Its value is real. The demand is real. And the possibility that you already own one is more real than you think. Your journey toward wealth doesn't always start with big risks or big investments. Sometimes it starts with one penny, the right penny. Imagine waking up one morning, pouring your usual cup of coffee, and discovering that a tiny copper coin sitting in your kitchen drawer is worth more than most people's homes. That's not fantasy, that's not exaggeration, because today, we're diving into the astonishing story of the 2016 Lincoln penny error coin. A modern U.S. cent that has shocked the collectible world with a current market value soaring as high as $982,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 cent. And if that number makes your heart beat a little faster, stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at every penny in your pocket. Act 1 begins with a truth that most Americans overlook. Wealth isn't always hidden in bank accounts, retirement plans, or real estate. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, in your change jar, in that old cup holder in your car, or in the forgotten coin purse in your nightstand. The 2016 penny is one of those rare numismatic miracles that appears completely ordinary until someone with the right knowledge recognizes the treasure embedded in its metal. And just like that, a coin worth 1 cent on paper becomes a life-changing windfall. Before we dive into the specifics of what makes this coin so shockingly valuable, let me interrupt your attention for a second with a simple question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it instead of tossing it aside like pocket clutter. If your answer is never, don't worry. Most people say the same thing. But after today, I promise you, you'll never ignore a penny again. Especially not a 2016 This brings us into Act 2, the moment where the story intensifies, where knowledge becomes power, and where the real transformation begins. The 2016 Lincoln cent didn't become a near $1 million coin because of luck. It became valuable because it carries a striking error so rare, so unusual, that collectors across the world have been steadily driving up its market price. High-grade specimens with the right error characteristics have crossed into staggering six-figure territory, culminating with that extraordinary $982,000 valuation, one of the highest modern penny valuations ever recorded. Now, here's where excitement turns into urgency. These coins are still out there. They weren't minted in the 1940s or early 1900s. They were produced recently, meaning countless Americans have handled them without knowing. And yes, there is a very real possibility that one could be sitting in your home right now. If you've ever wanted your own wealthy lifestyle breakthrough, this is one of the simplest paths. A single discovery, a single moment, one coin. But hold on, don't run to your change drawer just yet. Because what exactly makes this coin worth nearly $1 million? Well, that's where things get interesting. There's a particular error on certain 2016 D pennies that transforms them from average currency into elite collectibles. I'll reveal what that error looks like in a moment, but first picture this. Imagine finding a penny with a flaw so distinctive that experts instantly recognize it as a strike of fortune. Some collectors describe the moment they spot it like experiencing a jolt of electricity, the kind that stops you in your tracks and makes you question whether your eyes are tricking you. That's the emotional intensity these coins carry. Now, here comes our pattern interrupt. Imagine telling your friends that your greatest investment return wasn't your 401k, your crypto holdings, or even your house, but a penny. Watching their faces twist somewhere between confusion and jealousy? Priceless. And the best part? It's not unrealistic. Back to the cliffhanger. What exactly is the error? The 2016 D penny's rarest form contains a dramatic misstrike displaying structural distortions around key areas of Lincoln's profile and the lettering, depending on the variant. These errors weren't supposed to reach the public, yet they did, and now they're historical anomalies worth life-changing sums. The scarcity combined with the immaculate condition of surviving specimens is what propelled certain grades upward toward that incredible $982,000 valuation. This brings us into Act 3, the final transformation, where knowledge meets action. Because knowing that a 2016 D penny could be worth nearly $1 million is exciting, but what really matters is what you do next. If you want to sell rare coins for extraordinary value, if you want to unlock financial potential hidden in your everyday life, then you need to understand the mindset that separates the lucky from the wealthy. Wealthy people don't overlook opportunities. They inspect, they research, they pay attention to the small details that everyone else ignores. So here's the real moment of empowerment. Tonight, when this video ends, you're going to open that drawer, empty the cup holder in your car, dump your coin jars onto your kitchen table and start searching. Because the people who cash in on rare coins aren't always collectors. They're often just everyday people who decided that one small effort could lead to a massive reward. And here's another moment of urgency. With more collectors entering the market every year and demand for rare pennies increasing at a record pace, the value of coins like the 2016 D-era penny is only expected to rise. Modern rarities are becoming the new frontier of wealth creation, and those who act now will be the ones who benefit the most. Every moment you wait is a moment someone else could discover the next six-figure penny before you do. As we approach the final seconds, let me leave you with this cliffhanger. If a modern penny can reach $982,000 today, what happens when the next major error coin is discovered? What happens when the next rarity surfaces? And more importantly, will you be the one to find it? Stay curious, stay alert, and most of all, stay ready, because your next step might just be the one that unlocks the wealthy lifestyle you've been imagining. Sometimes, history doesn't just come to you. Sometimes, it sits quietly in your pocket, waiting for you to notice. Act I begins with a question that may feel almost unbelievable, yet it's firmly grounded in the world of rare coins and life-changing discoveries. What if I told you that a single, ordinary-looking penny from 1995, one without a mint mark, could be worth as much as $777,000 today? Yes, a coin you may have once tossed on the counter, dropped under the car seat, or ignored at the bottom of a jar could actually be a pathway to the wealth and lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And the most thrilling part is that millions of these pennies are still out there, tucked in drawers, resting in old coffee cans, or hidden inside family collections waiting for someone like you to uncover them. You're here because you know the truth. Rare coins are more than metal. They're opportunities. They're gateways. They're quiet, powerful reminders that financial breakthroughs don't always come from Wall Street. They sometimes come from a 1-cent piece hiding in plain sight. But before we dive deeper, let's interrupt that thought with a little humor. Imagine explaining to your friends that your new house, your upgraded lifestyle, your dream vacation, all came from a penny. A literal penny. They'd look at you like you'd discovered treasure in your leftover laundry money. Well, maybe you have. This brings us straight into the heart of today's journey, and it's a journey worth taking seriously because collectors across the country are aggressively searching for this exact coin. Demand is soaring. Prices are climbing, and the window of opportunity is narrowing as more people learn the truth behind the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. But what makes this coin so special? Why is its value approaching nearly $1 million? And most importantly, do you have one? Act 2 opens with a shift, a deeper look at the forces that transformed a humble penny into a high-demand treasure. The 1995 Lincoln cent was part of a mintage era when countless coins were produced, yet only a tiny fraction surfaced with a particular combination of errors, anomalies, and die variations that experts now classify as exceptionally valuable. This scarcity is where the magic happens. Scarce coins ignite competition, and competition drives prices upward with astonishing speed. You see, when seasoned collectors set their eyes on a rare piece, they don't hesitate, they act. Because they know that every moment of delay gives someone else the chance to claim that profit. Now here's where things get even more exciting. The 1995 no-mint mark penny isn't some locked-away museum specimen. It's not sealed behind glass or tucked in an exclusive vault. These coins are circulating among everyday Americans, people just like you. They appear in inherited collections, coin rolls, estate boxes, and forgotten jars. And right at this moment, someone is discovering one. Someone is celebrating. Someone's life is changing. The question is, will you let your chance slip by? And just as the excitement builds, let's break the tension with a pattern interrupt. If you're suddenly feeling the urge to run to your coin jar or empty your pockets, don't worry. You're not alone. Half of America is doing the exact same thing right now, making this the only time in history when checking your couch cushions feels like a strategic financial move. But let's pull you back with a cliffhanger. The story gets even more extraordinary. Because the highest graded 1995 no-mint mark penny recorded in the current market has reached an unbelievable valuation of $777,000, and collectors believe that as more examples surface, the competition will get even fiercer. Prices are projected to rise, not fall. So the coin you hold today could be worth even more tomorrow. Act 3 begins with the real transformation, yours. Imagine, for a moment, the version of your life where this tiny coin becomes the spark that creates a ripple of wealth. A version of your life where you sell a rare penny for hundreds of thousands of dollars, invest smartly, and finally step into the abundant lifestyle you deserve. This isn't fantasy. This is happening. And for those who act with awareness, intention, and urgency, it can happen to you. We live in a remarkable era where knowledge is currency and rare pennies are powerful assets. People aged 30 to 65 across the United States, just like the ones watching this video, are uncovering life-changing coins in collections they've ignored for decades. The opportunity is real, the demand is real, and the payoff is beyond extraordinary. Now let me leave you with one final cliffhanger that will linger long after this video ends. Somewhere in America, someone is about to discover a 1995 no-mint mark penny worth nearly $1 million. Their story will begin the moment they look closely, the moment they dare to check every coin, the moment they believe that something small can unlock something immense. The question echoing now is simple. Will that breakthrough belong to you? This is your moment. This is your sign. And this penny, this 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, is your invitation to step boldly into wealth, opportunity, and a future shaped by discoveries others overlooked. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of loose change, and discovering a single penny, ordinary at first glance, but secretly worth more than a luxury home in Malibu. What would you do if that tiny copper coin could be your ticket to a wealthy, stress-free lifestyle? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in modern American numismatics. The ultra-rare 2007 Lincoln penny mint error that recently shocked collectors with a staggering market value of $894,000. Yes, nearly $900,000 for 1 cent. And this might just be the most important video you watch before you cash in your old coins.in Act 1. Let's step into a world where ordinary objects hide extraordinary fortunes. Picture this. A typical 2007 Lincoln cent, something millions of Americans handled without a second thought. Yet one rare minting error turned a routine penny into a breathtaking treasure. The coin in question wasn't just flawed. It was magnificently flawed. A misstrike so significant, so visually dramatic, that experienced collectors described it as lightning in a bottle. Now, you might be thinking, why haven't I ever found something like that? Don't worry. That feeling of curiosity mixed with fear of missing out is exactly the spark that keeps treasure hunters searching every day. And the truth is, coins like this don't vanish. They slip quietly into pockets, drawers, and piggy banks across the country. Maybe even yours. But before we go deeper, here's a quick pattern interrupt to reset your attention. Have you ever wondered why the rarest coins always end up with people who weren't even looking for them? It's like the universe is playing some cosmic version of hide and seek. Except in this game, the seeker gets nearly $1 million. Not a bad prize, right? As we move into Act 2, the story becomes even more powerful. The rise of this 2007 penny to $894,000 didn't happen overnight. It came from growing demand, fierce bidding wars, and collectors who understood the true rarity of major mint errors, especially those from the Denver Mint. The market for error coins has exploded as more Americans recognize that wealth doesn't always come in the form of investment accounts or real estate. Sometimes it's sitting quietly in an old coffee can. And here's where the excitement kicks in. The demand for rare pennies is at an all-time high. Collectors are aggressively seeking hidden gems, paying top dollar for anything extraordinary. Every month, auction records break. Every week, new discoveries emerge. And every day, ordinary people just like you, are finding life-changing coins where they least expect them. Of course, the fear of letting something valuable slip through your fingers is real. Imagine selling a penny for a few dollars, only to learn that the same type of error later sold for hundreds of thousands. That sting stays with collectors forever. But excitement is also part of the chase because once you know what to look for, you gain the advantage. You step out of the guessing game and into the role of the informed treasure hunter. And trust me, the coin community is buzzing with anticipation, believing the next six-figure penny is still out there, waiting to be found. Could be tucked away in a purse, a shoebox, or a forgotten coin roll in your home right now. Now, before we transition into Act 3, let me drop a cliffhanger. What if I told you there's something even more surprising about this 2007 penny? Something experts believe signals that other costly errors from the same year may still be circulating. Stay with me because what comes next could change the way you look at every single coin you touch. Act 3 brings everything full circle. We're not just talking about a rare penny. We're talking about opportunity. We're talking about the chance for financial transformation with nothing more than awareness and curiosity. Today's collectors are paying record amounts, driven by passion, prestige, and the thrill of owning a piece of minting history. And as long as this demand continues, and trust me, it's not slowing down, the value of dramatic mint errors will only climb. That means the window you're standing in right now is wide open. But windows don't stay open forever. The people who win big are the ones who act before the rest of the world catches up. So as we wrap up this journey, ask yourself one simple question. If a single penny can be worth $894,000, what else might be hiding in your home, waiting to be discovered? This is your moment, your chance to enter a world where ordinary people uncover extraordinary wealth, your chance to turn old coins into new opportunities, and your chance to take the first step toward the wealthy, empowered lifestyle you deserve. Imagine holding a single penny between your fingers, a coin so ordinary, so familiar, that you've probably brushed past thousands of them without a second thought. Now imagine that same penny being worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a dream retirement, more than what many people earn in a lifetime. Tonight, we're diving into the incredible story of the 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, an overlooked treasure that has stunned collectors across the nation, selling for an astonishing $899,000 in the current market. Yes, $899,000 for 1 cent. If that doesn't make your heart race, you might want to check your pulse. Before we go any further, quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny instead of tossing it in a jar? Exactly. Most people don't. And that's why so many rare coins go unnoticed, quietly sitting in drawers, jars, and forgotten purses, literally waiting for someone like you to discover them. It's the kind of story that turns everyday Americans into overnight success stories, and it's happening more often than you think. To understand the value of this extraordinary 2008 penny, we need to step back for just a moment. No mint mark. That's right, no tiny letter beneath the date. At first glance, it seems like nothing. But coin experts know that when something breaks the perfect rhythm of the US Mint's production process, something big is about to happen. In 2008, during a year already filled with economic uncertainty, a rare production anomaly slipped through. A batch of Lincoln pennies left the mint without the usual identifying letter. These weren't damaged coins, not altered, not scratched. They were struck this way, and that changes everything. Now, here's where things get fascinating. For years, collectors whispered about these rare pieces, believing they might hold potential. But no one predicted what would happen when one of these flawless no-mint mark pennies finally hit the auction block. The bids didn't just climb. They exploded, rising tens of thousands at a time until the room fell silent, jaws dropped, and one bidder walked away with a record-shattering price: $899,000. Imagine being the person who found that penny. Imagine opening your palm and realizing you're holding nearly $1 million. If you're feeling a tingle right now, that's not your imagination. That's the moment your brain goes, "Wait, do I have one of these?" Suddenly, collectors across the country began searching through old jars, pockets, coin albums, even dusty boxes from their childhood. And here's the truth you need to hear right now. These coins are still in circulation, still hidden in everyday places, still waiting for people just like you to discover them. The demand is not slowing down. In fact, the market has never been hotter. Every new discovery sparks a chain reaction, sending values even higher, and buyers are ready, even desperate, to get their hands on the next one. You might be wondering, what makes this coin so valuable? The answer is simple: extreme rarity, flawless condition, and unstoppable demand. And because no one knows exactly how many are out there, the mystery only intensifies the price. It's like a treasure hunt where the treasure is actually real. But here's the part one want you to feel deeply. People are cashing in. Every month we hear another story of someone selling a rare penny and suddenly paying off debt, buying land, investing, and building the kind of lifestyle most people only fantasize about. And here's a quick pattern interrupt. If you think this can't happen to you, let me remind you, neither did the guy who found his rare penny in a coffee can next to old batteries and rubber bands. If that can turn into $899,000, what exactly is sitting inside your home right now? As we approach the end, let me leave you with a cliffhanger that's not just a story setup. It's real life. Somewhere, maybe in your kitchen drawer, maybe in your glove box, maybe in a jar covered in dust, there could be a 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny waiting to be discovered. And here's the twist. The next one that hits the market could sell for even more than $899,000. Prices are climbing. Collectors are watching. Auctions are heating up. The window is open, but it won't be open forever. If you haven't checked your pennies yet, maybe tonight is the night your life changes. And if you're serious about turning old coins into real wealth, keep watching this channel because we're just getting started. Your future $1 million discovery might be closer than you think.